Could be worse. We're here, I like to say, we're gonna have fun, but it's not a peace mission we're on. We're gonna make some change. And sometimes when you make change, you gotta rock the world a little bit. Now when you think about what we're rallying for here today, each and every one of us has buried our friends, our brothers, our sister firefighters who have made the ultimate sacrifice through their service and fulfilling the oath they took by the exposures that they face in the line of duty, the carcinogens that we're exposed to during the course of our careers. But what we've come to realize, and it boggles the mind, is that our PPE, our personal protective equipment, what we call our bunker gear, our turnouts, before it's even out of the box, is manufactured and infused with toxic, carcinogenic chemicals known as PFAS, or forever chemicals, that build up in our bodies over the course of time and scientifically have been proven to lead to cancer, the #1 cause of death of firefighters. 75% of the firefighters we memorialized on the wall in Colorado Springs last year died from job-related cancer. Just like when we go to work in the firehouse, we don't pick what fires we go to. We don't get to choose when we're gonna go. We go wherever the fight is. When the bell goes off, we go out to make a difference, to save lives, to protect the people that we swore an oath to protect, wherever that may be. Well, we as union leaders, as IAFF leaders, the fight to protect each other takes us right in the realm of cancer. One of the obvious things we need to tackle is getting rid of the needless exposure we get to carcinogens every time we put on our bunker gear. It makes no sense. There is no way the alleged benefits of infusing our gear with PFAS outweighs the harmful exposure that it subjects our bodies to, that undoubtedly drives our cancer rates. That's why, and I know we heard from her yesterday, but I'd like to thank Representative Debbie Dingell, who offered the legislation that we're here to fight for, to help make sure that not only our brothers and sisters back home that are in the firehouse today, but those kids that are maybe in high school right now, that if we don't make the changes and affect the changes that need to happen today, nothing will change for those kids who are lucky enough to come on the job behind us. We owe it to them to stand up, to leave it better than we found it. One of the things we need to address is this bunker gear issue. And we need to get these toxic carcinogens out of the manufacturing process of our bunker gear. And to do that, we need partners. We've said all along, we're not Republicans, we're not Democrats, we're not red, we're not blue. We're firefighters through and through. We support those that support us. We need help on both sides of the aisle to effect this change. I'd like to bring up someone who has all along recognized our need for leadership, recognized our need to have champions in elected office. Who better than the former mayor of Happy Valley to come up and say a few words to us to help lead us as we go up to the Hill and bang in those doors. Representative Chavez-DeRemer, Republican from Oregon, who, like I said, served as mayor of Happy Valley, and as mayor was a very strong proponent of public safety in her city. When she campaigned for Congress, one of her champion causes was confronting wildfire and the need to ensure that we're better prepared, better funded, and better trained as firefighters. The very first female Republican elected to Congress from Oregon, she sits on very key House committees that will hear the legislation to fund the research for new PFAS-free next generation bunker gear. I'd like to welcome our friend, Representative Chavez-DeRemer. Madam Congresswoman.
Good morning. I am so grateful to have been able to walk over here from my office this morning with my firefighters from the great state of Oregon, Happy Valley, Tualatin, everybody's here, and it was important for me to listen to what they had to say. What I thought was ironic is that there's, again, 4 of these firefighters from my hometown of Happy Valley. And as they were talking to me about what the issues are and what you all are going through every single day, they were nervous to come to my office. They felt excited, but they thought, wait a minute, we have somebody who's gonna listen to us. And I told them, don't be nervous, come to my home. Come have a beer with me. Come tell me what you care about. And again, as was mentioned, this is an issue facing all of our frontline workers as firefighters. As mayor of Happy Valley for 8 years, I supported my firefighters up and down the ticket. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. You are our frontline workers every single day. I have heard more sirens in this city since I have been here. And I think to myself, when the bell goes off, the door opens up, I can see them from my apartment, and they head out. And it doesn't matter, 24/7. I'm here to support you. I know what you're up against. I know the uphill battle. I thank you every single day that you wake up, leave your families not knowing if you'll return home, to serve the future of this country. And whatever I can do to be the eyes and ears for you, not only in my great state of Oregon, but at the federal level, I will do that for you all. So thank you for being here. Thank you for marching in Washington. Thank you for telling us your issues. We're here to support you. I love you all, and I'm grateful to serve you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Congresswoman. Our next speaker, we're very honored to have with us Senator Roger Marshall from Kansas, another fellow Republican of the Congresswoman, and a strong supporter of us. Senator Marshall worked as a physician for a living. Much like us, you don't punch a clock when you're a physician, just like when you're a firefighter. When people need help, you help them. In 2018, Senator Marshall was aboard an Amtrak train when there was a terrible accident. He sprung into action, saving lives, performing CPR and first aid, and helping our brothers and sisters in Local 4007 in Albemarle County, Virginia. We thank him for his service and his service as a senator, where he was one of our supporters of the federal firefighter cancer legislation. We thank you for that. Also a strong supporter of funding AFG and SAFER grants, 2 very important programs from us. Senator, come on up and say hello. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. You know, my staff told me we're going to have a push-up contest is how they got me here today, but it looks like no one's dressed up to do push-ups with me. But look, American firefighters have always had our back, and now it's time for America to have your back. So I just want to share a little bit about my life growing up in rural Kansas. My dad was a police officer and fireman for 25 years. He joined the police force when I was 5 years old, And in our little community of about 15,000 people, every police officer had to train to be a firefighter. Within 5 or 6 years, my dad was the fire chief and eventually became the director of public safety. So he was head over the fire and the police department. And I got to tell you, my time with the firemen, and they were all men then, so I'm sorry, but they were all men. We had the greatest times. They were the funnest group of people I got to hang out with. My dad was the type of boss that just always dragged my older brother and me everywhere he went. And I remember all the fun times that a firefighter had, and mainly it was the training part of it, right? 3 or 4 times a year, we'd have major fire training episodes, and we would get to go and watch them light the fire, and usually we were on the sideline, but my favorite thing was grass fires, because when there were grass fires, my brother and I got to help my dad. It was a great way to introduce me to what public servants do in their lives as well. I remember the year my dad got one of those little Jeeps, U.S. Army surplus, right? And where the machine goes, they put a little a water cannon on it. And my brother and I get to do all those fun things out there, putting out grass fires, driving in the back of a Jeep, no seat belts on, the air going through our hair, and it was a great time. But I also remember the sad times. I remember the tough times too. I distinctly remember 2 huge fires downtown. Where it's one of those fires where if we don't contain this fire, the whole block's going to go down. And you know what those old cities look like. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know the dangers of them. I remember one was New Year's Eve, and it was literally below 0. It was raining and it was sleeting. And remember my dad being up all night. And you know what happened at 7 o'clock the next morning? My brother and I were down there scrubbing the fire hoses down with the firemen. But probably the toughest night of my dad's firefighting career was being pulled one of my friends, my classmates, out of the fire, and he didn't make it. I was in 2nd grade. And I just remember how crushed my dad was that he couldn't save my friend. And I think that's why I'm so committed to you all, is to do what little things that we can do up here. I am proud of our record up here. And I'm grateful for your heroism and all your first responders, the bravery, at whatever cost it takes. But raging fires aren't the only thing that threatens firefighters' lives, and we know that now. They're exposed to dangerous, cancerous inducing toxins from both the flames and the equipment. And of course, the protective equipment that you're wearing now also has the PFAS in it. I'm just baffled as a physician how we let this go on. We'll talk more about that later. Certainly, I understand the increased incidence of cancers in firefighters. Bladder cancer, kidney cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, testicular cancers, mesothelioma, melanoma, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, all increased incidence in our firefighters. And despite the critical public service that you provide across the country and the toxic exposures you're subject to, firefighters are always left to fight, or they're sometimes left to fight for health on their own. Firefighters are dying at an alarming rate, and they'll continue to suffer unless we act as elected officials. Like I said earlier, American firefighters have always had our back, and now it's time for Congress to have yours. I've been proud to support key bills that improve the health of sick firefighters and empower them to seek medical treatment. Back when I was in the House of Representatives, I did vote for the Firefighter Cancer Registry Act, which came into law in 2018. As you go out today, I want you to connect with the Senator and Congressman staff members. So Charlotte Panetta, I want Charlotte to come up here. Charlotte, are you still here? So this is the person, the staff member that wrote that law. So So these laws, they all start with a person with a relationship. So grow a relationship with these staffers that do all the hard work. Last year on the Senate, we supported the Federal Firefighter Fairness Act, which is now in law as well. This week in committee, on the HISGAC committee, we're going to advance the Fire Grants and Safeties Act as well. So there are things that we can do up here. But I want to stress, I'm so sad that we're not spending more research dollars on alternative firefighting foam, right? Why isn't, I'm sure that it's happening. Why are we spending millions, if not billions of dollars in Wuhan, China, developing a virus that's killed millions of Americans? Why are we spending that money on practical applications like firefighting foam that's not carcinogenic, let alone the equipment that we're wearing? I'm just baffled by that. So I hope as you all are out there, you know the solutions to this, and I don't yet. But that's the conversations that my staff and I'll be having, is where are research dollars being spent in that as well. So listen, I'm glad you all are here today. It is a great presence. I'm so proud to have a relationship with firefighters since the age of 5. I do know the hard work you go through. I do know the hazards of your life, the dangers of your life, the rewards of your life as well. So I appreciate what you're doing. Pray for each one of your safety and your health and your families. Thank you for having me. God bless you all.
All right, everybody. Boy, it's cold. There it is. All right. It's cold for me, and it's cold for the next friend I'm going to introduce from California, from the great city of Los Angeles. And Cindy Kamlager is no stranger to supporting firefighters. She just took the seat. She's new to Congress, but she's not new to supporting firefighters. In California, she's already voted to ban PFAS in firefighting Class B foam. She has that record. She's expanded firefighter presumptions. She's been through our assembly. She's been through our Senate. And in fact, now, as the general president was talking about, we have bunker gear. Now that we know it with the science, that we've put on our kids to take pictures at the firehouse. And in the last year, Sydney's visited our station twice, and we've taken her on ride-alongs and put on the gear on her. And part of me wants to apologize to her right now for putting on those cancerous coats on her. But you're going to have a champion as a new Congress member here, and she's an IAFF warrior, and she's going to be in that seat for a long time. So let's give it up for my sister and our supporter, Cindy Kamlager.
Thank you, Frank. You know, Frank is my brother from another mother. The sun came out maybe because I'm from California. California is a great state for protecting our frontline workers and our firefighters. I want to say thank you to anyone who is here from Los Angeles, because I know that there were 80 courageous, I see you, there were 80 courageous firefighters who went to Turkey as part of a rescue mission to save those impacted by the earthquakes. So thank you for your service. You know, I just want to say, you know this, that cancer sucks. And it sucks when it's a hazard of the job. And it sucks when the government doesn't recognize it and protect those who are protecting us from cancer and hazardous toxins that kill. And I have to say that I appreciate you because I know what you do. My aunt and my cousin were saved because of you. My aunt had a house fire in her home, and if it were not for the firefighters in Chicago, I would not have them with me today. When I was in the legislature, because California is so forward-thinking with its firefighters, I had the opportunity to work on legislation very similar to this for the mechanics, those who run the trucks, and make sure that you have what you need, that you have working equipment to do your job, because those folks also are not protected. It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense to me that we would ask, encourage, demand, need for you to risk your lives every single day, to put your family members and loved ones in torturous positions every time you go out to save lives, and do it knowing that we don't have your backs in Congress. So I'm here to tell you that I do, and I will continue to stand with you as we work to ban PFAS, as we work to continue to talk about these toxic chemicals, forever chemicals, that are killing this generation, the last generation, and possibly future generations of heroes like you, if we don't get our act together and allow you to lead us by sharing with us the data that you all have collected to protect this profession, to protect your lives, and to protect this country. It is as much about the benefits that you deserve as it is about the gear that you wear, as it is about knowing that Congress is going to stand with you as we right some of these wrongs that we have yet to address. So come by my office any single damn day of the week to hear me say that I stand with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Congresswoman. We're lucky to have champions like you fighting for us in Congress. And we have another great champion hailing from the state of Ohio, a longtime city councilor in Cincinnati, a strong supporter of Local 48, our firefighters there, who fought for them in his years on the council, and is now bringing that same passion with him here to the halls of Congress. So I'd like to welcome up a great supporter of the IAFF, Congressman Greg Landsman from Ohio. Mr. Congressman, thank you for being here.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here and allowing me to say a few words. As you heard, I'm from the city of Cincinnati. We have a few folks from the city of Cincinnati. How many folks from Ohio do we have? Where are our Oh, right here. Look at y'all. Come up front. Awesome. Fantastic. So Cincinnati, if you haven't been, is the best city in the country. I love all of the cities and towns in this country. I just have a favorite, and I think Cincinnati is one of the best. We have amazing institutions. We've got a great football team. We've got a pretty decent baseball team. We've got great chili. But we have one of the best locals in the country. I mean, the Local 48 is one of the best group of leaders that I've ever met. And so even if I wasn't such a big supporter of our firefighters, which I am, our local is just so fantastic. And they have been with me every step of the way, and I will be with them and you every step of the way, 100%. So let me just say, just a few things. One is, we know how much you put on the line, and it is I think a lot more than people realize. Right now in the city of Cincinnati, our firefighters are still dealing with what is considered a 6-alarm fire, which I didn't even know existed, right? This is the third major fire that our firefighters have had to deal with in the last couple of days. They've been at this fire, which was at a manufacturing facility, for 4 days. It started on Saturday. 4 days. Now, they don't know what's in it. We don't know what they've been exposed to. But that didn't stop them. There's 160 firefighters that have been in and out of that building, putting that fire out, keeping our community safe without batting an eye, right? And it is up to us as lawmakers in the city of Cincinnati, in the state of Ohio, and here in Congress to make sure that they are protected, and that if they do get sick, that they get everything, and so do their families, everything. And so I am committed to that. Whatever bill that we can agree on, that the Senate and the House will pass to ban these chemicals, you have my full support. And when it comes to benefits, we have to be as generous as our firefighters are to us, right? 160 of our firefighters are working this fire right now. They, again, don't know what's in that building. They don't know what they're exposed to. We don't. And it's on us. As you all know, cancer is the #1 danger facing our firefighters. And as a representative from Ohio, I want to recognize the loss of Battalion Chief Richardson, who had an aggressive form of pancreatic cancer associated with his work. He served as the president of the Columbus Firefighters Union, Local 67. Any folks from Columbus here? All right, there they are. Give them a round of applause, my friends at Columbus. Columbus is a great city too. I just truly believe Cincinnati is the best in the country, but that's just me. And it's on us to honor his work, his family, and all of you to get this legislation passed. So thank you all for everything that you do. You not only protect our communities, you put out these fires, you are an inspiration to all of our young people, to all of us. But as a parent of 2 children, both of whom at one point wanted to be a firefighter. You know, I have a son and a daughter, and there was a point in time where each of them said, "Dad, I want to be a firefighter." And that's not the same for most other occupations. People don't look up to other folks the way we look up to our firefighters. So I love you all. God bless you. Keep up the good work. We'll keep up the fight here in Washington. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Congressman. When we close here right now, a couple minutes, I'd like to invite everybody up for our second year in a row picture by the Capitol with all of our members, the General President. I want to thank the General President and our Executive Board Governmental Affairs Department for putting forward not only this legislation, but this rally here. It's important. I want to thank all the speakers. We saw Democrats speak in support of us. We saw Republicans speak in support of us. That goes to we support those who support our issues. So let's unite as we've come together to organize here. And let's go fight on that hill like you fight for your members at home. You're the voice of your members. You're the best lobbyist for the IAFF is you right here. So those families are depending on it. Let's unite, fight, and go do our thing on the hill. Come on.